Hello, Emma.
Oh, hi.
Thank you for inviting me into the Harlow Food Bank today.
Yeah.
We're here to have a discussion about Harlow Food Bank, the things you do here in the town, and about your book,
I know.
which I've just finished reading. When Sam tried to close the food bank.
A radical idea. What did you think?
Yes. You know what I really liked about this book? I really liked the way that it's not just a story. I felt like you're trying to spark a conversation, that you're trying to inspire curiosity in a younger generation, and also give them some answers to the questions that they may have.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to find out for you, I want to talk about your book first because it's really exciting. Tell me about the process for your book. Where did this idea start?
Oh, goodness. So I started here at MRCT, which is the charity that oversees the food bank, about 4 years ago, and I was brought in as a Changing Minds campaigns manager, which sounds amazing, doesn't it? So the idea was I came in and I spoke to people who came to visit the food bank to find out what their stories were, because there's a lot of assumptions about why people come and visit the food bank, and there's a lot of stereotypes about people, but really you just never know until you actually speak to people. It's the same with everything, isn't it? So the idea was to kind of break down those assumptions and the stigma that's attached to the food bank, but also and bring people's stories to life. So I spoke to about, so this was 2021 I started doing this, and it was a bit of a strange time because at first we were over in St Paul's Church.
Yes, yeah.
And I was still wearing a face mask to speak to people, so that doesn't kind of set up a conversation. In a way it was good because there was an element of anonymity there for both parties. But also it's hard to kind of say to people, please open up to me, but you'll never see my face, it's not the same kind of conversation. So I spoke to about 70 people and kind of got a rough idea of what people were saying, and then we created some curriculum materials for senior school students like year 9, and also created this book because we wanted to speak to those younger people. It's aimed at year 6.
Yes, yeah.
And we wanted to speak to them to kind of say, it's amazing if you do give to the food bank, like we really appreciate it, but maybe it's also good if you kind of understand what's going on with the people who come to seek help at the food bank, and just understand their stories a bit more and question why it might be needed, because I think there's some real joy when people come together and try to give to help other people. But it's also, we'd love not to exist at the same time.
It's a really strange position that you're in, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the world has changed quite drastically in the last decade.
Yeah.
This didn't exist 10 years ago, did it?
I think we started in 1999, but
okay, so it did exist, but the demand for it throughout the whole country, not just in this town here in Harlow.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole country, it's that last decade. It seems that there's an exponential growth.
Absolutely.
And that was kind of just before COVID that I noticed. Is that kind of right? Would you say that?
I mean, I became more aware when I started working here, and I always thought that I was very open-minded and I didn't have any kind of pre-existing expectations of who the people I'd meet or anything. And then I met the lady that's in the book, actually, whose name is Janice, and she's 64, and I never, in the book she is, and I had never expected to meet someone who was my parents' age.
Yeah.
I always just thought everyone that age was fine, but they're not.
No.
So I can't remember your question. Go on, sorry.
Well,
how much has it gone up?
How the world has changed and the demand for
absolutely.
it, and even myself, the first time we met was when I first came to the food bank. I myself have had a period of time in my life that I struggled, and I think a lot of us go through that when we might. I never expected to be in that position, that I needed to rely on others.
Yeah.
But I did find myself there, and I felt very blessed that it was a place that I was actually welcomed into, and the support was there. And I think you were the first person I met here.
Yeah, maybe. And you were one of the first people I spoke to actually when
really?
I started my job. But I would never tell anyone that I'd met you. And so, I've never told anyone that we've spoken or that you visited the food bank.
No, and I think I kind of feel like it's important to share that.
Okay.
Because I'm at a place in my life now where I don't need to rely on the food bank. I don't need that support now. It was a moment in time that things are hard. Things don't continue forever. It felt like it would at that time.
Yeah.
I remember if I go back to that time, I thought I'd always be in that situation and I wouldn't find a way out. But I did. And I think a lot of that is down to the support that I received from here. So I am very grateful for it.
Oh, that's so amazing to hear. And no one would ever want you to be grateful, but it's so amazing to hear that you're in a better place now. And I think a big thing when you do have those conversations with people is you can see the stress that is on their face and it's just wearing them down. And I hope you don't mind me saying, I do remember you looking quite stressed.
Yes, I was, yeah. And stressed, and I felt a lot of shame. I remember queuing up to come in when you was at the church. And I felt like a failure at that time. I was like, how have I got here? I'm trying my best for my family, for my kids. I can't provide for them. How did this all go so wrong? But I think it comes back to that thing of we all have a different story.
Absolutely.
We all have a different thing that we're trying to deal with, that we're trying to contend with. And we don't necessarily have to contend with that on our own, do we?
No. And a real big part of what you just said was it's just a moment in your life. It's not the defining point in your life.
No.
And it's not going to last forever. And there's so many reasons why people come and visit the food bank. And a lot of them are to do with like life changes that no one plans for. And life just throws bumps in the way sometimes. And if we can be there to support people through those bumps, then that's amazing, isn't it? So,
So what brought you here then? Why did you want to come to the food bank? I know that you said you came through the what was it? What was the
Changing Minds?
You came through it through Changing Minds.
Yeah.
But for you personally, why did you want to be in that position to support and help others?
So I've lived in Harlow forever. I'm really passionate about the town and the people and just the fact I love it here. But I've seen it change a lot through the years and I wish it were better. I think people deserve a lot better. I've been involved with campaigning before with the Save Our Libraries Essex campaign. So I've got a kind of taste for campaigning and what we could do. So when I saw the role and was presented with the role, I thought I could really get my teeth into that. Also, I really like speaking to people. I like writing anyway. I've got a qualification in writing. So the fact that I can go and speak to people, but also I've been a youth worker for years as well. So I have those elements of training where I've been kind of trained in safeguarding and I've had to deal with difficult conversations over the years. So I've got a background that kind of lent itself to this kind of role. But I just really feel that, I don't know, I think it's because of my dad maybe. I've got a real kind of fire of social justice inside of me and I think that we can all change the world and if you can try. So,
And so what do you find here from people when you I guess you we've got that personal connection that you've seen me go through here, but I guess you've seen a large portion of the community come through the doors here. What kind of change have you been seeing then?
I'm really angry about housing issues.
Okay.
There's so many different housing issues that just need to be made better and changed right now. And I think if we gave people a better foundation with their housing, then it would lead to them to have a better quality of life, less stress, but also it would give them more dignity and so they didn't have to rely on services like this so much. So I've become more and more angry about housing.
That's really interesting that you say that because I read a news article today about, I might be saying the wrong country, I'm pretty sure it's Finland, that they've changed their social benefit structure that they put housing at the front.
Yeah.
The housing is, we look after people and having them homed, making sure they've got a roof over their head, that they're comfortable. Then all the other things come after that.
Yeah.
We help them with their finances next, or whether they've got addiction problems, whatever it is, comes secondary to making sure someone has a safe place to sleep at night.
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know.
I think Finland is right on the money in a lot of ways, isn't it? When it comes to education, they seem to have a great system, but also when it comes to housing, I think they've also got a big focus on social housing as well.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas in this country, it seems to be like your aim is to own your own house. And I mean, I think Harlow is probably one of the few towns that still has a social housing stock as well, isn't it? So I think everyone, and the way that if people feel more comfortable in their own lives and their own surroundings, it impacts the whole community. So it's in the benefit of everyone, whether they're experiencing housing issues or any kind of issue or not, to look out for each other.
Yes, yeah.
So I think if we got housing right, it would do a lot of good in many ways, as you say.
So have you any idea then, from being in this position here, how we can start to change society to move into that direction then?
I think a big thing that we need to change is the way that we talk about things. So where you kind of said the social benefit structure, I usually don't hear social and benefit together.
Okay.
It's usually like the social security scheme or, you know, benefits.
Yes. Yeah.
And they don't usually go together. I think the way that we used to talk about it was more kind of like the social element. So it's really great to hear it described like that. So we all do look out for each other. I think the way that people talk about each other, or the loudest voices that you see online or in the news and things like that, are so divisive that actually we need to start talking more about what we've got in common, but also talk about what could change, which would benefit everyone. And I think if I look at Harlow and the way that Harlow has changed, did you grow up here?
I grew up here.
Yeah.
I moved to Harlow when I moved from a small village, Faden Boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Moved from Faden Boys to Harlow when I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
Which was a little bit of a culture shock, actually.
Yeah.
Very, very different. Even at 10 years old, I noticed how different things were.
What did you notice? Am I supposed to ask you questions?
No, this is a conversation. What did I know? So coming from a small village and moving into a town, a village that's quite affluent. It's quite a wealthy area, and not so wealthy, Harlow. I'll never forget my first day here and meeting. There were two young boys that lived next door to me that were a couple of years older, and we went out on our bikes. My first day in Harlow, and they're like, "You're posh, aren't you?" I was like, "Am I?" And there's like, "Have you ever sworn? Have you ever seen a swear word?" And it was just like it was a culture. There was a shift. That I had to adapt to. And
so you started swearing and
so I started swearing to feel part of the gang and getting into trouble that I didn't. I discovered a world that I didn't even know kind of existed before.
Okay.
If I think about it, it was at that turning point of my age anyway that I would start to play it out, and I probably would have been, testing boundaries anyway, whether I had have carried on living in Faden Boys.
Yeah, I wonder what Faden Boys 10-year-olds got up to.
Yeah, not the things that I got up to. I was being led astray a little bit by the next door neighbours. So
but you broke out of it a bit, and you're okay.
Okay. There was one bad incident that happened with them, and my mum said, "You're not playing with them anymore."
Oh right. Okay.
So she and I knew it was bad, so I listened to my mum.
Okay.
And was like, okay.
And you've been here ever since?
Yeah, and I've been here ever since, and I do love this town. I think it gets a bad rap, and people knock it, but I think, especially recently, where I've been going around connecting with a lot of community groups, there's a lot of good people here.
Oh, there's so much going on. Yeah,
there's a lot of people that want to do good, that want to come together. Whether that's in community things or whether it's in the arts, whether it's in sports. Just there are people that want to do good for others and want to be part of a community.
Yeah.
And in a way, I feel like Harlow's got a bit of a village feel to it because of that.
Yeah, I think there's been a time where if you don't know that person, then you will.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Everyone's connected
somehow.
In some way.
Yeah, I always feel that the worst thing about Harlow is what's said about it, and I really don't think it deserves the name. You know, when I was growing up here, we had so much going on. We had all these play schemes which everyone could rock up to and just go along to. And it didn't matter if you were like the richest person in town or the person that was struggling the most in the town. You were just all in it together, and you just all got on with it, kind of thing. So you all mixed, and it was amazing. And they were all, you know, I think we had like one of the biggest football leagues going, and there's so much that has kind of grown up with us. So if you kind of take the longer term Harlow residents, I think they have a certain set of values that kind of come with them from, you know, you all muck in and you all just get on, kind of thing.
And then that seemed to go away for a little period of time, didn't it? It seemed to go away kind of in those early 2000s, I feel. Kind of it started to be, we went into a period, maybe it was a national thing rather than just a Harlow thing, but where money was being pulled out. Where we went into that, what do they call it, austerity, and I think we can look back on that and go, who did that benefit?
Well,
who is that work for? You know, who was that? Who was that helping?
I think we'll pay for that for a long time as well, because those community spaces that we're saying are so important now, they were eroded. So the less chance you have to kind of meet people and get along with others, the more you're going to feel kind of isolated, but also feel a bit concerned about who is that person, what are they doing, and the more isolated you feel from your own community, the worse it's going to be for the community, isn't it?
That's when the fear starts to come in, the division. And you know, I had a big conversation on here recently with one of the big supporters and helpers at Harlow Foodbank, James Griggs. We were talking about the flags in this town and the division that's being built up, the walls that are going up. And so I think more than ever, these community spaces need to be championed, and these community spaces are needed. Yeah,
and I don't think that would be so visible or felt even by those people who are putting those up, had those community spaces still been in place. I was joking with Chris the other day that Chris and I both went to the square quite a lot. I just said to him, I don't think those would have gone up if the square was still there, or if they did go up, they would have come back down pretty quickly. And I don't think any people that went to the square are actually involved with the flags. It's just it's the mentality of being at somewhere like the square, you kind of, again, all in it together, and you look out for each other.
I think being part of a society, part of groups, makes us more social and makes us less fearful. And that's definitely been lacking. And so now's the time to start bringing it back. It is all coming back. You know, they're talking about building a new cultural development within the town. What do your hopes and dreams look like then for the future?
Oh, just for Harlow?
For Harlow or the bigger world?
I think just talking about people that I spoke to when I was interviewing people with the food bank, a lot of those conversations there, if I was to choose a running theme, it would be that there's a lack of community and a feeling of isolation. So if we could reduce those feelings of isolation and give people that point in the community where they kind of think, I need to go there, I fit in there, I want that place to be part of my world, then that would be all the better for the town. So those third spaces is what they call it in policy terms. Being there is great. I think that actually it's great that we're going to have that cultural hub open. I hope that it's big enough to serve the town that's going to be there. And I did read that it's going to be the smallest theatre in Essex, which is a bit, you know, I'd love it if we could draw in those bigger acts. But I've seen they've got things like, I mean, in the Playhouse now, they've got loads of great events coming up, like Zogs coming and, you know, K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm sure I'll be going to. But I think it will give us a bigger range of acts to go and see if we had larger things happening on our doorstep. But not everyone's interested in music and theatre and things, are they?
No,
so with the best
there is
bin in
that.
the world, we still need those other places where people can just go and find each other. So I think libraries do serve a big portion of people there, but a lot of the places in Harlow which people might have gone and found that community, have either gone or they're being used for single purpose use now. So I think if we had more kind of neighbourhood hubs where people could go just in their neighbourhood rather than making that journey up to the town centre, then I think that would be really great, actually.
So that's interesting that you say that, because I've got a personal vision for, I look at this town and I see how dead it's become.
Yeah.
And I would actually like, rather than more shops here, more cultural things going on here, more community spaces here, which are popping up, like this is a community space here. But that's interesting that you say that. Like, we've got places like the shopping centres like the Stowe and Bush Fair. There should be more community things happening there as well.
I think Safe to Go Stowe is a brilliant initiative down at the Stowe. I wish it had been named more positively.
I think with that there's, because the Stowe built, there's a fear around the Stowe. Yeah. You know, there was a crime, was a problem there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up at the Stowe. I know the Stowe very well.
Yes,
so I don't know what it is. I wouldn't have any problems walking down the Stowe. So I think, you know, just planting the idea that it's unsafe isn't.
Okay, yeah. The choice of words are very important. I think that's what's in this conversation. We're discovering that the choice of words that we use are very important and carry quite a lot of weight in society.
I think so, and that idea that it's not safe is kind of detrimental to the actual project.
To what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, that's
so,
a good point.
And there's loads of, I mean, I don't know if this is helpful, but where they did the release the stats the other week about how great the initiative have been, they led with a picture of the handcuffs and stuff, so it was how much crime had been reduced.
Right.
There's a brilliant sculpture down there of a fist that's like raised in unity, not in anger.
Yeah.
So if you'd have just led with that, it could have been so much more positive and place-based as well. But you know, I think of things, maybe my brain works more in more of a story and more pictorial, and I think that it does matter. But I think, you know, if there was a place you were going to go to Bush Fair to meet people and have a chat, it might be the CAF. But if you are in somewhere like Sumner's or Catherine's, they're a bit more, they don't have
they're quite detached, aren't they?
Yeah, and I love Harlow Rock School, but the community centre in Catherine's is solely for Harlow Rock School now.
Yes,
and I hope Harlow Rock School does brilliantly, and I think they do amazing work. So I don't begrudge them that, but it's taken away that kind of social space that would have been there before. I think there's ways that we can look at things like that, because it is a bit of a trek from Catherine's up to the town.
So I take my daughter to Harlow Rock School.
Yeah,
and I live the other side of town, so it's getting her there every week. Or, you know, there was a point where she was going there 2 or 3 times a week, and that was really quite difficult. But the benefit of that was undeniable. So it was worth doing. So but at the same time, it is out the way, and for those residents that are living in that area, there's not all the other things in town are quite far. So and I guess that brings in kind of like social transportation within the town and our network system. I know that there's a lot of work happening with cycle paths in Harlow at the moment, isn't there? So hopefully that will bring in a reconnection with the town.
I mean, I was talking to someone a while ago, and they live in the permitted development building, so the old office block buildings up in
the Riverway, is it? Okay, the Pinnacles have got some
Pinnacles, now.
Right, okay.
They're more dotted about than people kind of realise, I think. But they were on a mobility scooter, and they said, I can get here, but I can't get home because my battery won't do both ways. And they can't get their scooter on the bus. So it's kind of like looking at different levels of how accessible everywhere is to everyone. And with the buses, I'm not quite sure where we're at now, but where it's £3 a journey, that could be, if you're doing £3 from Catherine's into town and then £3 back out, that's quite an expensive day actually for not very far. So I think there's lots of things that you can kind of review. I love have you seen DigiGo is in Essex?
No.
It's a different part of Essex. I think it might be northwest Essex. So it's like a kind of bus that you call.
Right, okay.
So I guess it's like a car share scheme, if you like, but for a bus. And so you just pick that up instead, and it's a cheaper way of getting around.
And there's I would guess even that something like that might be saving on petrol and being more environmentally friendly, because it's directly serving the people that that need it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, we've always had a great network of cycle tracks in Harlow, so it's great that there's a bigger push on cycling. And it was good to see the e-bikes as well coming out, actually.
And is that going to be something? Do you know at all if that's going to be something that's going to be affordable and accessible for the people of Harlow? Because if you go into London and you get one of those bikes, they're not that affordable. Some of the brands you can be looking at £10 for 10 minutes.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it can be.
I've never been brave enough to cycle.
Have you
in
not?
London.
No. It is. Do you know what? It is scary, and you do take your life in your hands, and it does take there is a certain skill that you have to use one of those. But then, they're not necessarily cheap.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I like the idea of that coming to Harlow. But at the same time, I'm like, is anyone in Harlow going to be able to afford it?
That's true. I mean, I often think I'll cycle to work on those good days where I feel like I've caught up with the school run and I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
But where I'd put my bike once I got to the town centre is a different thing, because I wouldn't know where to lock it up and it would still be there when I get back.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I'd feel a bit safer with e-bikes because it's not my bike.
It's not your responsibility.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully that does work for the town then.
I think, I think
it
that's
looks
a really good move.
Yeah, it looks like there's some positive changes happening in the town at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where do you think that's been sparked?
Sparked. Oh, so the government were doing the levelling up funding under the previous government, weren't they?
Right. Okay.
And they saw us as a place that could do with some investment again, I suppose. And that's continued under this government. So in terms of sparks, you'd hope that it was consultation with the local community as well, but I'm not sure how much people actually engage with consultations. We need to work out a better way to do those to reach more people on the ground rather than, you know.
Yeah, it is interesting, those consultation type things. Do they get to the real people? Do they get to the people like through that are coming in here using the food bank? Is it genuinely the wider community that has a voice in that? Yeah. I wonder if the biggest place for something like that is through stories like through your book. Yeah. If you go back to when we were cavemen, this is how we've been working out society, isn't it? Through stories, through telling each other our own experiences and sharing them with others and sharing them with other communities, and hopefully with what we're kind of doing here, sharing our experiences and spreading them as far as we can. Yeah,
I think that Harlow's always had quite a vocal community as well, actually. There's a lot of people who are here who are very passionate about where they live and what they hope for the future for it. So I hope that those voices have kind of reached people as well. How much people often feel listened to is another thing though, and I'm not quite sure we're in the best place for that yet. Okay. And that's probably shown by, you know, the frustration for those people who are putting up flags right now, because I think that does come from frustration for them, isn't it? So, you know, what story could they tell if we spoke to them?
I want to find out. I'm interested to find out, because we do all have a different story. We do have a different perspective. Some may be wrong, some of those perspectives. Yeah,
I mean, wrong's a big word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, where we're sitting now is my Harlow Hive space, which is a project that I run now. But I sit just in that booth there is integration support.
Right. Okay.
And so I sit here sometimes and I can't hear what people are talking about, but I've just got to stop myself for a minute.
Are you?
No. So I think sometimes when I read things that are anti-immigration and things like that, I've sat here before. There was a man a few weeks ago who let out the most, I don't know, heartbreaking cry, guttural, you know, from his very being, about something he'd gone through, and I don't know what he's gone through, but you could tell it was coming from so much trauma, and I just kind of wanted to give him everything in the world, kind of thing, because you never want anyone to sound like that, never want to hear that kind of sound from anyone. So I think I have the benefit of sitting here, if you like, so I can hear sort of sparks of conversations from different places. But I think if we could bring people together more so that they could hear different perspectives and different things that are going on, then I don't think I'll ever get that man's cry out of my head, you know.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's given you a perspective shift and change?
No, I've always had the same perspective.
Oh, okay.
So I've always kind of just thought, it's not been a change for me being here. I've always kind of sat there, but it's made me, if I ever read something online, I just have that man's in my head, you know, man's voice in my head, and I just think we need to do something to break down these barriers and to make people into humans and people and relatable. And that's partly with the book, is when we talk about food bank users or visitors, often we talk about numbers, but it's the stories and the people that are behind those numbers that really bring everything to life, isn't it? I mean, if I told you that there are more food banks in this country than McDonald's, which is true, that's a startling thing to hear, but it's still not the same as hearing from someone like Janice, who's 64 and had to go and use the food bank, and why did she need to do that, you know? But more food banks in this country than McDonald's is pretty shocking, isn't it?
It is. And getting to the heart of it is that why.
Yeah.
Why are we in this position? And I think we've covered a lot of that already, you know. But if there was like one big thing in this world then that you could change to make this a better world, how would you do that?
I'd get people talking more, but I'd also get people questioning things more. And I'd probably actually undo a lot of technical advances and ban all social media if I was really on one.
Well, social media goes, but social media has created these echo chambers.
Yeah.
It feeds into what people want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, for me running social media channels, I see that people hit like on the things that confirms their own bias that they have already.
Exactly.
Not that they're looking to discover anything new. That's the only thing that gets hit like on. And so then the algorithm goes, oh, right, you like that information, so we'll give you more of that. And so there's no development happening on those platforms at all.
Yeah. And it can really wear you down, actually, if you're in the same space all the time. It can become quite stressful, can't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because of the work I do, I suppose I try and look up more happy stuff to have a bit of escapism. But and then I still get Instagram sort of shoving perimenopause stuff at me and things. And the other day I got an advert for looking after a turkey neck, so it's like about your neck aging.
Okay.
So I mean, my profile is, you know, my algorithm is probably a bit different.
It's trying to, because also the algorithm wants to sell you things.
Yeah, so it's making me worry about all these things that, I mean, I think my neck is holding up all right at the moment, but I might become more conscious about it. But it makes you worry about loads of things where actually if you just put your phone down and walk away for a while, you probably have I think I need to do that one day. I haven't done it, you know. And I do find myself kind of, they call it doom scrolling, don't they? But everyone ends up in a loop on it. But I think if we went out and actually spoke to people and questioned things more, questioned what we're reading more, questioning where it came from in the first place, questioned who's saying it and why they might want to say it, I think we'd all be in a better place.
Wonderful.
So,
and that's exactly how you've structured this book.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I see the outline of this book is, to spark that curiosity, to ask the questions, but then at the same time, you've managed to find a space in here to give some guidance and some answers as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was really important for me that, so we worked with this amazing illustrator who's a local lady called Camilla Quinn Fitzjohn, and it was really important for me that Harlow was portrayed as a place that's got value, and, you know, we're not running it down or anything like that, because I won't have that anyway. So there's points in there where you see the sculptures in the town and it's recognisable as Harlow. And I really, in every element of it, I just wanted to, I spoke to, so the 4 people in there that have shared their story with us, I spoke to them before and I wrote everything out, and I sent them a copy, and I said, before I got to that point, I said, is it okay if I do this? And they were all fine. I just really wanted to give them the respect that they gave me when they took the time to share the story, and treat them with dignity. And I hope that comes through in the book as well.
Definitely does, yeah. From my perspective as a reader.
Good.
And so where do we find the book then?
Oh, well, you just find it on the MRCT website at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, it retails for £5, but all that money goes back into the food bank. So it's if you have a socially conscious friend who'd like a book about Harlow.
So you're using this as a channel to also give back to the community as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all the proceeds go to the food bank.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Emma.
Thank you for having me
I truly appreciate it, and I truly do appreciate and I'm grateful for the work that you do here at the food bank, and with all the other aspects that you're helping and championing the community here with as well. We didn't quite get into the Harlow Hive, actually. I've just remembered.
Yeah.
So I was just about to wrap it up, but then I was like, no, Harlow Hive. Tell me about Harlow Hive before I wrap this up. I don't know. Tell me what is Harlow Hive?
So Harlow Hive is a group that brings people together to take action on the issues that they're facing. So the idea is that there might be lots of different people that come to use our services here, or never at all, whose lives could be better if that one minor thing changed. So we have, so we bring people together to do it. So my role is an organizer. So I speak to people, I find out what's going on, and then I say, actually, would you like to come and do something about that? So initially we talk a lot about potholes, and then we move on to different things. But one of the big things that we've done is create the community tree, which is just over there.
Yes, yeah.
And the idea of that was a lot of people, it came from the group of people that I brought together, and they said we never realised how many amazing things are happening in Harlow, or the help we could have had before we hit crisis point. So we were trying to work out a communication tool to bring that together that would be easy to navigate and easy to access, because if you are getting close to crisis point, you need it to be easy as possible. You don't need
and even the poster is a roadmap. It's which I can go down this road and find this service, or these are the options here, or I can go this way, and these are the options.
So the idea of the way it's laid out was actually came from Dave Hobbs, who was Harlow Citizen of the Year this year. And he'd seen something similar in Chelmsford with the tree and the branches, and follow the branch for what help you need. And without that idea from him, it would never have been what it is. But so we launched it last year at the Harlow Poverty Alliance conference. And Dave gave a speech about it, and so did a guy called Aaron, who was part of Harlow Hive. And over 1,000 people have checked out the website since then. So they've followed the QR code to get to the website. But the website leads people to all the websites of the organisations that can help them. But we also link to Frontline, which is a service which brings together all those organisations. That was typically targeted at the referrers rather than the people who would be receiving the help. So we were trying to bring it all together so it's more accessible for everyone. So that's been a big thing that we've done through Harlow Hive. Where we were talking about permitted developments earlier, with Redstone House, which is up the town and has a new name now. So we were out on a stall. We were doing a stall around the back of the library one day, and we were telling people about the community tree and talking about different things. And one of the residents there asked me to come and speak to him to show me things like their mailboxes had been taken away and their bins were overflowing, and just basically a load of stuff was going on in the building that was detrimental to all of their living conditions. So we brought people together over a couple of meetings and asked what they wanted to do, and they got in touch with Your Harlow and their councillors and the MP, and started to talk about what was going on. And as their living conditions got worse, those meetings became more and more important. But in the lead up to things kind of changing or getting to the point where they might change, there was a prohibition notice served on the buildings. So everyone had to leave due to the fire risks, all on the same day. And there's like 25 adults and 27 children in there. But people spoke to the local press, and I would think BBC Essex were down and ITV Anglia. People spoke with them, but we also released some articles on Harlow Hive's website about everything that had happened in the lead up to it. And I think through people raising their voice, they were actually able to stay within the town rather than, because it's quite easy with, like we've seen with, I don't fully know what went on with Joseph Rank House, but I think a lot of the people who were living at Joseph Rank House were moved to different parts of the country. They didn't actually get to stay in Harlow. So I think it's quite easy when people are put into that kind of situations to say, right, your life is in Luton now, or your life is in Croydon now. But actually people have lives that are here. So it's really amazing that we were able to support them to be able to stay within the town. A lot of people are still in temporary accommodation, and it's not been the easiest time for them still. But at least they're somewhere where they have some roots and they kind of know roughly where they can go to get that support if they need it. Not everyone needs it. But it's been amazing to be there for people with things like that. We did some work on council housing repairs. We had a meeting with Dan Swords and David Carter about this time last year, actually, maybe just after Christmas last year. And I can't take credit for the policy changing, but there's been a lot of positive moves from the council. So hoping maybe we made a bit of a change there. So and it's really kind of testament to the fact that even if you are a small group of people, if you have a voice, you can change things if you're willing to use it.
Well, this whole conversation to me has been a huge demonstration of how powerful your voice is and how important your voice is and how important it is to be heard. And that's where the space for where the changes will happen.
Yeah, nothing changes if you don't say something. Nothing changes without people trying to take action. And, I'm really badly quoting as someone now, but nothing.
Don't worry, if you ever listen to the podcast, I am full of bad quotes.
I can read it up here,
yes.
but I can't quite see it. But it's something along the lines of never doubt that a small group of people, everyday people, can make a massive change. It's the only thing that has changed anything. And that's a badly quoted quote by Margaret Mead. But I think of that quite a lot because there's a lot of times, a lot of us can just feel powerless and worn down by everything, can't we? And especially when you're in those moments when you're like, I don't know how I can't even imagine next month, let alone if it being a positive next month kind of thing. So, but if you get a group of people who are all in the same boat together and you sort of try and steer that conversation positively, then you can, it's worth a go, isn't it? So, you don't, what is it? You lose 100% of the chances you don't take, or something like that. Anyway, probably another badly quoted thing.
But I get the sentiment of it, and you're right. We're talking about community here, and we're talking about society, and that's what we are all part of, and we're not alone.
No,
we're not alone.
Yeah,
none of us are. And coming back to here, the food bank. As soon as you walk in here, this is a place that cements that defines that we're in this, that we are truly in this together.
I mean, we try and make this as welcoming as possible, and the majority of the donations to the food bank come from people donating at supermarkets and things like that. It literally is your neighbours supporting each other, and that's wonderful, isn't it? So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Emma.
You.
This has been wonderful. I'll make sure I add links to the bottom for where to find the book and the other amazing things you're doing in the town as well. So I really do appreciate you sharing, and I appreciate all the work that you do.
We won't start a campaign to ban social media yet.
Well, it's interesting what's happening in Australia. I think there's some
Denmark as well recently.
Some positive there. That it's clearly affecting the younger generation. And so we do need, that's kind of the point of laws and adults, isn't it, to protect the younger generation? And so it does make me think, why do we, I've mentioned earlier in some of the changes they're doing in Finland, why do we not look at what's happening in other countries successfully and making communities better, why do we not look at those things and take action?
Maybe we need to look into it more and start
making
those voices
louder.
louder.
Let's be louder.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly what I'm doing here on the podcast.
I think you are. I think it's amazing. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to be louder with these areas that need change.
Yeah, and the fact that you're making Harlow people's voices louder, like we've kind of said, there's so many great people and great things going on in this town. It just needs to be louder than those people that run it down.
Yeah, well, let's keep doing it, and this is an amazing place to live, and we can make it even better if we come together. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks again, Emma.
Thank you.
If anyone has been watching or listening, thank you for joining us for this conversation. We appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
That was wonderful.
Ah.
Thank you.